Hello there, parents and parents-to-be deciding on the perfect age gap for your children. I know some people plan this down to a T, while others are just thankful to have the ability to get pregnant. Some struggle with infertility and cannot imagine trying to plan what month your baby's going to be born. However, I also know teachers who have literally counted backwards to have a baby in May so that then they would enjoy their baby during the summer and it would work best for their leave and income and for their family. While on the flip side, other people are struggling with infertility and would take a baby any day of the week, any month of the year. They don't care. They just want to be blessed with a baby. So this may not apply to you, but it may. We're going to just talk about, in the perfect world, if you were planning the spacing for your children, what do you desire? First, going to start with my own personal experience of having children with a 2.5-year age gap. Then we're going to talk about a smaller age gap and a larger age gap. So about 2.5 years. I think a lot of people shoot for around 2 years apart, so we're just slightly over that. What I will say with this specific age gap is you have a few tough decisions to make. So for me, when baby number 2 arrived, my first child was 2.5. This means we could have moved him out of the crib. We could have started potty training. And did we need a double stroller or not? Because it's like you have 2 little kids, but they're not that little together. You know, you could pass down the crib from your first child to your second child. Other people, if you go the bassinet route, we're not a bassinet home, they may keep their toddler, who's 2.5, in the crib, put baby in the bassinet for the first, couple of months, and then maybe make the transition to a toddler bed and give the crib to the baby. So it's up to you on that. I was fortunate enough, my sister had an extra crib from her own age gap situation where she had 2 cribs. So she let me borrow one of her cribs. So we actually had 2 cribs in our home for a while there, and we're very fortunate to have that. Now on potty training, we did not potty train our 2.5-year-old before the baby arrived. We opted not to do that. What we were going to do was potty train our toddler while I was on maternity leave. And I know to some people that sounds crazy, like you're recovering from a baby and this and that. But I'm not talking week 1 of maternity leave. I'm talking near the end of my maternity leave. We were considering potty training our toddler then before I needed to go back to work. I ended up actually getting sick and ending up with an infection and going to the hospital, so that plan did not happen. We ended up potty training our toddler when our newborn was around 3 or 4 months old, I believe. And that was when they were showing signs of readiness. I was feeling well again and out of the hospital and recovered enough from birth, and we were just ready to do it at that point. I can link our video on potty training and how we did that if you would be interested in watching that. And then finally, the decision of the double stroller. So we have a single jogger. We can't fit 2 kids in it, and it's not convertible. Do we want to push our 2.5-year-old in the stroller and maybe just wear baby in a wrap? We kind of debated, and my sister also had a double stroller. So we took that, we used it for one summer and sort of experienced it. It wasn't the latest and greatest stroller. It didn't maneuver very easily, but we had it and it did come in handy for that period of time. And then we went on to go ahead and get rid of that. And we've made do. We ended up actually getting a wagon. I am going to do a review on that. So if I have that done, I will link that in the description as well. It's not like the Wonder Wagon. It doesn't have buckles for your kids. It's actually more of a utility wagon. We got that once our baby could sit up. So they were able to both be sitting up in the wagon safely. Aside from that, we do still use our single stroller. We use it for our younger child, and then our older one will walk depending on the location if it's something they can handle. Or we will have them maybe ride their little tricycle. We've done different things, and sometimes it just depends on the situation and where you're at. We've also done where they take turns riding in the stroller, and if we need to carry them, we carry them, especially if we have 2 adults. So we've kind of just made do and kind of figured it out. Overall, I would say those are some of the like pros and the cons and sort of like the things to think about if you're going to have approximately a 2.5-year age gap between your children. Now let's dive into a smaller age gap. So this could be anywhere from 11 months apart. If you go super close together, it could be 2 years apart. Just depends, of course, for your family. Some of the things you're going to experience with a closer or smaller age gap. You're going to feel like you have 2 babies, but they're 2 babies that developmentally are in different places. You are going to have your hands full. You are going to be very busy. If you put your newborn on the ground, your 15-month-old might come over and, squish their face or something. They're not old enough to know how to handle the baby. It's a little trickier. You got to do more teaching, and definitely more learning is needed on that because you kind of have 2 babies. You're going to be juggling. You're going to need to supervise them more maybe. Whereas like for me, when we had a 4-month-old and a almost 3-year-old, they could be left in a room and we knew our older child would be okay for a minute. They weren't going to tackle their younger sibling. You're going to be running around. You're going to need some energy because 2 young children is definitely challenging. I think the older they get, the easier it can get, in the sense of they start seeming more alike in their milestones and different things make sense. For example, if you've got kids with a big age gap, you might go to a trampoline park and it makes sense for the older kid, but not the younger kid. Whereas when you have those kids close together, when one's ready for something, a lot of times the other one is as well. So it can make it really fun in the future with different like activities and bonding, and like they're buddies and they're on the same level for the most part. Obviously, every child is unique, but that can be really, really cool as they get older. Now, like I said, in that newborn phase, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be busy. So some people would almost rather go boom, boom and get through that baby phase fast, because it almost will be a blur if you've got 2 young ones and you're not waiting to start over again. You're just like, let's bust through this baby phase. Let's get done with the bottles and the formula and the breastfeeding and the diapers. Let's get it all done at once. So that would be an argument for a closer age gap. Now, with the close age gap, some cons or some things to think about. Are you going to need doubles of certain items? Are you going to need 2 high chairs? Possibly, hopefully not. Depends on your gap. Are you going to need a double stroller? More likely, yes, if you've got 2 that are very close together. Are you going to need 2 cribs? This is up to you and your sleeping arrangements and how you do it. You may move one up. You may hold one in a bassinet a little longer and try to keep them in there, or even do a pack and play temporarily. It's up to you. This is your business and your situation, but having 2 close together can impact you financially in that sense if you're needing double of a lot of items. Keep that in mind. I think children close together are beautiful and a blessing and really cool. I grew up with a sister 18 months apart from me, and it was great. I think it's wonderful. It's not for everyone though, but if it's for you, those are some things I would anticipate and expect. Now let's talk about the larger age gap. So this is the flip side. This could be a 3-year, 4-year, even 5-year age gap. The thing about this is it's almost like you're starting over. You could have one going off to kindergarten and then you're starting right back over with a newborn. And it's just up to you if maybe this is just how the situation worked out for you. Maybe this is what you always desired. It can also be a beautiful thing in that their relationship isn't as much fighting for attention or your energy. You know, that older one's in a very different place than your newborn and your baby. They're also safe around each other. You know, your older child, understands that babies have needs and this and that. So that can be very helpful. It also can be really cool in that your older child might be off at kindergarten, and with your second child, it's almost like having a first child again, and they get your undivided attention and your energy for certain hours of the day where it's just them. And that can be really special as well. Now, I will say it's starting over. It really is. It's back to diapers. It's back to nap times, which you might be done with, and just baby gear in your house, like bottles and this and that you moved on from, but now you're going back. And with that, I would also question, did you hold on to all those items, or are you having to re-buy them all? Because, that would hit hard. Did you keep the crib? If you have a 5-year-old and you're starting over, do you still have the crib? Hopefully you do. And the thing also might be some items might be, old to the point of like not being able to use them. Like say the car seat, it might be so out of date that you're not comfortable using it. So then therefore you're having to repurchase it. So that would be a con to the larger age. So those are my general thoughts on the larger age gap, things to consider and watch out for. So what is the perfect age gap? The truth is there isn't one. Every family is going to have unique needs and wants and desires. And like I said, maybe you are going to meticulously plan, or maybe you're going to wing it and embrace unexpected surprises. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you stick around, check out my channel, and find some other helpful content like this that fits you and where you are in life with your children and your family.